Hey, River Rock Church, good morning. Hopefully, you've got your coffee and you're ready to get into the scripture together. We've got Psalm 62 up this morning. What's great about Psalm 62, and as we go through it, you're going to see that it talks about an incredibly important spiritual discipline. Okay, this is one that everybody needs to learn, but nobody wants to have. I'm in that group. I don't like it, but it's such a blessing when we have this particular discipline. So let's jump in. Let's discover what it is that we need to have that's a spiritual discipline that honors the Lord that most of us don't really want to have. So here we go. Verse 1. Truly, my soul silently waits for God. From him comes my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not greatly be moved. Did you catch that? Right out the gate, it says this: truly, my soul silently waits for God. Waits for God quietly. And that's what it is. It's this capacity to be able to wait for the Lord to do the work in which He is going to do. So often we might have a sense or a call that we feel like this might be from the Lord, and we're like, let's just go do it right now. Why should we wait? Why should there be any sort of other seasons? Yeah, I remember when the Lord was stirring in me, it's time to go plant a church. Well, we didn't leave for like years, like a year and probably 7 months later, we didn't actually move to go start the church. It was a season. It was a season necessary where we would wait on the Lord to be able to develop, prepare, equip, and allow us to discern exactly where and what we needed to do in order to plant the church. All of that season of waiting was necessary preparation for our souls to be secure in the Lord and the call in which God has given, to provide direction, vision, and all those sorts of things. Even though there was a sense of chomping at the bit and ready to go, there was a season necessary to just simply wait on the Lord to work all the parts and pieces out that were necessary for whatever that next step was going to be. I even back up a little bit further. Right when I was going through the school of ministry, there was this sense at about 21, 22 years old of a call to be a senior pastor. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I was so young and I didn't really know how that would play itself out. Well, once I was in that, then eventually graduated the School of Ministry. And what was next? Well, the next was a season to Dubai, a season of waiting after that, and then eventually a new stirring of the Lord. All of that waiting was necessary preparation for the work in which the Lord wanted me to do. There was a time and a season where not only was I just kind of, a place where I was excited about learning, the next season had to be putting it into practice so that I might be able to find that the Lord is my strength and my shield and my salvation. He is my rock, right? Those things are so necessary. So who loves to wait on the Lord? Well, I don't think anybody just loves to do that. Why? Because we want things to be done now. If I want to go eat, I can get a meal in like T minus 0 seconds almost. You pick any fast food restaurant, they're going to get it out. And that's the way that we've lived. Unfortunately, that's not the way the Lord works. Verse 3 would go on: how long will you attack a man? You shall be slain, all of you, like a leaning wall and a tottering fence. They consult only to cast him down, and his high position lies in they delight in lies, and they bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly, talking about those who are coming against him. Obviously, he's desiring God's deliverance from these people, and the Lord is holding back his timing so that David would be able to understand what it is to wait and to trust God. And so verse 5 is really cool because it says this: my soul. It's kind of like Paul is now talking to himself about this. My soul, wait silently for God alone, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength and my refuge. is in God. Now, what David's doing is in spite of everything that's going on, in spite of the timing that doesn't make sense, in spite of the fact that it feels as though that the Lord is slacking his timing, and he is now in this season of waiting patiently, waiting silently. He's now having to kind of tell himself the truths that he already knows, that there's this quieting of the soul that ends up taking place as David is allowing truth to settle in his heart. And sometimes that's exactly what we need to do in seasons of waiting. We need to make sure that we collect all the truths in which we know about the Lord and allow that to be something that will settle us, settle our heart, give us a sense of hope and peace and even a measure of joy, a desire to learn and grow in whatever season it might be, so that the Lord might do the work necessary. I heard this from a man named Serge, who ended up going and planting a church in Haiti, and a missionary. Incredible things. He would always say this. He says, Jeff, God is fast, but we are slow. And that's such a powerful statement, because when we get to a place where we're ready to just wait, then now God's timing doesn't matter anymore. There's work that has to be done. And we've got to allow the Lord to do the work in our lives for his purposes. And so if you're in a season right now where you feel like God has just been slack, or you're not quite sure what's going on, I just ask you and I encourage you to almost speak truth to your soul, as though he's saying, like, my soul waits silently for God alone, right? Reminding yourself that the Lord is the one that moves the mountains. The Lord is the one that moves man's heart. The Lord is the one that works. Maybe you've got somebody as well in your life that you would love to see come to know the Lord, and you're just waiting and you're hopeful and you're like, God, come on, can you just make this thing happen? Well, wait patiently on God. Continue to place your trust in him. Allow him to build your faith and strengthen and encourage you that this is one of those things. I don't like this spiritual discipline because I like things to happen when I want them to happen. But God is a much better worker of all things, especially in the time in which they need to be brought about. So I must trust in him as well and continuously learn what it is to wait well. Love you guys. God bless you all. Be strengthened in the Lord. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.